In just a few years, standard mobile apps are going to be viewed um, basically the exact same way we look at dial-up internet today. Like painfully slow, completely passive, and honestly, a massive competitive liability.
Oh, absolutely. The era of the app as just, a simple utility, that's totally over. It really is a fundamental restructuring of how commercial operations actually function.
Right. It's shifting from tools that just respond to your commands to
Yeah.
these intelligent engines that actually anticipate your business needs. But before we get deep into all that, a huge welcome to all the C9 followers of our podcast and business page joining us today. I am Lex.
And I am Vera, and we are coming to you from the C9 Podcast Show.
Exactly. And, we want to explicitly call out that this deep dive today is custom tailored specifically for you, the Australian business owners and C-level executives listening right now.
Yeah, because you're the ones who really have to navigate this shift.
Right? So our mission today is to explore exactly why those standard, rules-based business mobile apps are now a direct threat to your market share. We're pulling our insights from a really comprehensive executive briefing. It's titled, Winning the Australian Market with AI-Powered Mobile Integration.
It's a fantastic source. It provides this fact-based, step-by-step framework to transition your operations from just like AI ambition to actual AI production.
Yeah, and showing you how to do this before the competition. And honestly, the new Australian privacy regulators leave you completely behind.
Which they will if you aren't prepared. If we look at the macro environment, the mobile phone is already the primary digital channel for commerce, right?
Yeah.
By 2026, we're looking at nearly 23.6 million smartphone users in Australia alone.
That's huge.
It is. So if your app is still acting like a digital vending machine where a user pushes a button and gets a predefined static result, you're essentially bleeding efficiency.
Yeah, let's elevate that baseline problem for a second. For a C-suite executive, the goal is always risk mitigation, right? And building a competitive moat. Those traditional apps are those vending machines. But the new generative AI apps, they're like an elite concierge,
Oh, I like that analogy.
right? They know the user's preferences, they handle complex multi-step requests seamlessly, they understand context. But to grasp why upgrading to that concierge level is an operational imperative, we first have to look at the massive opportunity cost of doing nothing.
And then opportunity cost is, well, it's showing up in revenue scorecards right now. Consumers are already deeply conditioned by AI. Just in the first half of 2025, Gen AI apps were downloaded 1.7 billion times globally.
1.7 billion. Wow.
Yeah, making 1.3 billion US dollars. Over 60% of mobile users interact with an AI-driven interface every single month now. They just expect it.
So if your customers and your employees don't find that level of, intuitive friction removal in your platform, they aren't going to call your support line and complain.
No, they won't say a word.
They're just going to quietly abandon your platform for a competitor's.
Precisely. Quiet abandonment is the silent killer of market share. And internally, the cost is just as severe. Across Australian enterprises, the most expensive non-strategic cost is just human attention being wasted on predictable tasks.
Right, like highly paid staff triaging generic customer inquiries.
Or manually populating CRM data fields from like photograph documents in the field or spending hours routing appointments.
But the source material highlights that solving this isn't just about saving time, it's a proven revenue generator. The ROI is heavily documented here. Every single dollar invested in generative AI returns an average of $3.70.
Yeah, and if you operate in financial services, that jumps to a 4.2x return on investment.
4.2x. That's incredible.
It is. And what's truly fascinating there is the underlying mechanism driving that massive return. It's a concept called the compounding intelligence advantage.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, if you deploy an AI-integrated app today, every single user interaction acts as localized training data. The mathematical weights within the model adjust. It learns the specific vernacular of your industry. It adapts to your unique user behaviors.
It becomes hyper-personalized.
Exact.
So it's actively widening the gap between you and your competitors every time a customer just opens the app.
That's it. If a competitor decides to play it safe, and wait 12 months to see how the tech shakes out, they aren't just 12 months behind on writing code. They are 12 months behind on proprietary behavioral data.
Wow.
They've lost a whole year of machine learning optimization. That's a competitive moat that you simply cannot purchase away later, no matter how much you inflate your IT budget.
Hold on. Isn't that just like Sitting on a gold mine, but using the gold bars to prop up a wobbly table. I mean, most established Australian companies already have this massive trove of behavioral data sitting in their analytics dashboards right now,
Yeah.
just dormant.
That is the perfect analogy. Without Gen AI, that dashboard data is just a historical autopsy of what happened yesterday.
Right. You look at it, put it in a PowerPoint, but it doesn't do anything.
Exactly. An AI integration strategy takes that dormant gold mine and turns it into an active, self-improving intelligence engine that makes high-probability decisions in real time.
Okay, so the business case is undeniable.
Right.
The ROI is $3.70 on the dollar, the intelligence compounds, the data is already there. So the obvious question any executive is going to ask is, why not just duct tape a large language model API into our app tomorrow and issue a press release?
Because doing that without a rigorous compliance architecture leads your company straight into a massive legal landmine. And the clock is ticking incredibly loudly for Australian businesses right now.
Right, let's talk about this approaching regulatory cliff. December 2026. What exactly is the mechanism here that's going to catch companies off guard?
Well, under the Australian Privacy Act 1988, there are new APP 1.7 obligations, and they officially take effect on December 10th, 2026. The legislation is very specific. If your app uses a computer program to make automated decisions that utilize personal information, and those decisions could significantly affect an individual's rights or interests, you absolutely must disclose the mechanics of this in your privacy policy.
Okay, let me make sure I'm translating the legal speak correctly here. If your app uses an AI model to, say, personalize premium content or dynamically assess creditworthiness, or even just triage a patient's healthcare query to the right doctor, you're caught in this regulatory net.
You are squarely in the net.
Right.
And the regulators are not giving a grace period here. The Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, the OAIC, they already began their first ever formal compliance sweeps in January of 2026.
Wait, really? They're already sweeping.
Oh, yeah. They are actively targeting enterprise platforms right now to set precedents. And the penalties for noncompliance can result in civil fines of up to $50 million for significant corporate entities.
$50 million. I mean, that's not a slap on the wrist. That is an existential threat to the balance sheet.
Absolutely.
So if the fines are that catastrophic, how do you even start? Like, does an executive need to hire an army of compliance lawyers before a developer is even allowed to write a single line of code?
No, you don't need an army of lawyers, but you absolutely need an engineering team that builds with privacy by design. This isn't just optional consulting jargon anymore, it's fundamental operational survival.
So it has to be baked in from the start.
Yes. Transparency around how the AI weights decisions and how it strips personal data must be engineered into the application's foundational architecture from day one. You cannot build a shiny AI app and then try to bolt legal compliance onto the side of it later. It will break.
Which brings us perfectly to the solution, right? You need a strategy that flawlessly aligns your commercial goals, the underlying technology, and strict OAIC regulatory compliance. And that's exactly where the source material introduces the 5-step C9 implementation framework.
Exactly. This isn't just theory. It's a survival guide for navigating that transition from ambition to production.
Let's walk through how this actually plays out for a business.
Well, it starts with the most critical foundational step, which is honestly where 90% of offshore projects fail. Step 1. You must ruthlessly define the commercial outcome before you even look at a technology stack.
Right, going to a dev team and just saying, we want an LLM in our app is exactly like going to a commercial truck dealer and asking for a massive V8 engine, but totally forgetting to mention you need to haul 5 tons of hazardous gravel across the outback. You have to define the business metric.
That's a great way to frame it. Are you trying to reduce call center volume by 20%? Are you trying to increase the average cart value for returning users? If you don't have a specific, measurable commercial outcome as your North Star, the engineering project just drifts.
You just burn through capital expenditure and deliver nothing your board can defend.
Exactly. But let's say you have that metric. The next hurdle, step 2, is auditing your data foundation.
Because I imagine if I buy a highly capable AI model, but my company's data is just a fragmented mess of outdated PDFs, siloed customer logs, conflicting CRM entries, the AI is just going to learn the wrong things. It'll hallucinate, right?
Oh, completely. If you feed an LLM garbage data, it doesn't just give you a bad answer. It confidently fabricates realities.
Yikes.
And in regulated industries like finance or healthcare, an AI hallucination isn't just embarrassing, it is a massive liability nightmare. You have to audit data quality, accessibility, and governance. You need clean, structured APIs so the AI can actually read the truth of your business.
Okay, so step 1, we have the commercial goal. Step 2, we've scrubbed the data. Now step 3, we hit the architecture decision, and the briefing outlines 3 distinct paths here. Let's break down the mechanics. First is cloud AI.
Right, so cloud AI relies on powerful external APIs. Think of models like GPT-4o or Claude. It gives you incredible reasoning capabilities, but the mechanical catch is that the user's data payload has to leave their physical device.
It travels across the internet to a third-party server.
Yes. And from a privacy perspective, especially under those new Australian privacy principles we just discussed, transmitting personal info to the cloud requires exhaustive legal and technical review.
Right, then you have the complete opposite approach, on-device AI.
Exactly. This architecture runs the machine learning model directly on the user's smartphone hardware, utilizing frameworks like Apple's Core ML or Android's ML Kit. The critical advantage here is that the data never, ever leaves the phone.
So it offers the absolute highest echelon of privacy compliance.
Yes.
Ah.
And modern premium smartphones have dedicated neural processors that are more than powerful enough to handle complex tasks locally.
But there's a third option, which the briefing specifically notes is C9's recommended architecture for Australian enterprises, the hybrid architecture.
The hybrid architecture is the absolute gold standard. It uses intelligent routing protocols to dynamically assign workloads based on data sensitivity and latency requirements.
Wait, let me push back on that and make sure I understand the risk. If this hybrid system decides to route a complex user query to the cloud for processing, are we right back in the crosshairs of the OAIC regulators because the data just left the device?
That is the genius of the hybrid system.
Yeah.
When a query requires the massive reasoning power of a cloud LLM, the on-device AI acts as a privacy filter first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it actively strips out personally identifiable information names, account numbers, addresses before the payload ever hits the network. The cloud model processes the anonymized query, sends back the complex reasoning, and then the on-device model recombines that answer with the user's private data locally.
That is brilliant. It perfectly threads the needle between maximum AI capability and strict OAIC compliance. You get the horsepower of the cloud, but the fortress-level security of the device.
Exactly.
So with that hybrid architecture in place, what is step 4? What are the actual high ROI use cases that are moving the needle for businesses right now?
The briefing highlights 4 standout mechanisms. First is semantic search and personalized recommendations.
How does that actually differ from the search bar I already have in my app?
Traditional keyword search requires the user to guess the exact noun, like typing waterproof jacket. If they misspell it or use the wrong term, they get 0 results. Gen AI semantic search understands context and intent.
Right.
A user can type, "I need something for a rainy camping trip in Tasmania next month," and the AI understands the regional climate, the activity, and dynamically curates a personalized loadout of gear. By understanding intent, businesses are seeing average order values improve by 20 to 35%.
That's a massive leap in user experience. What's the second use case?
Intelligent document capture. For companies with field workers, the AI uses computer vision to extract structured data from photos or messy voice notes. It isn't just taking a picture, it's reading the gauge, understanding the serial number, and auto-populating the enterprise database.
Saving a ton of time.
It's saving 2 to 4 hours of manual data entry per worker per day.
Half a day saved per employee. I mean, that alone justifies the investment.
Absolutely. Third is conversational customer service, where intelligent interfaces are grounded exclusively in your proprietary product data, which reduces call center operating costs by up to 40%.
Huge.
And finally, agentic workflow automation.
Give me a concrete example of an agentic workflow, because automation is a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot.
Fair enough. Imagine a property manager takes a photo of a burst pipe in a commercial building. The AI agent doesn't just log the photo. It autonomously cross-references the pipe's maintenance warranty, checks the inventory system to order a replacement valve, drafts a work order for the plumber, and sends an SMS to the tenant with a repair window, all triggered by that single uploaded photo.
So the AI acts as an autonomous agent executing multi-step logic. Okay, so we've built this incredible autonomous hybrid architected system. The final step, step 5 of the framework, is governance, because you don't just launch an AI and walk away.
Exactly. A proper governance framework includes continuous privacy compliance mapping, documenting every single new data type the AI touches as the app evolves. It requires output quality monitoring to ensure the model doesn't drift or start hallucinating over time.
Right.
You must have user transparency clearly disclosing in the UI when a user is interacting with an AI versus a human. And you need a rigid incident response protocol and a scheduled cadence for retraining the model on fresh data.
So let's ground all of this heavy framework theory into industry reality. How is this actually playing out in the Australian market today?
We're seeing incredible operational transformations across key sectors. In retail, early movers are utilizing that semantic search we discussed to see 3 times higher conversion rates. But where it gets really rigorous is financial services. They have to deal with intense regulations, specifically APRA CPS 234.
Right, the information security standard. How do you deploy AI without violating APRA?
They're using on-device behavioral biometrics for fraud detection. The AI locally learns the exact physical angle you hold your phone, the pressure of your taps, the unique cadence of your typing speed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if a scammer gets your password and tries to log in, they won't type it with your unique biometric rhythm. The on-device AI recognizes the anomaly and locks them out instantly without ever transmitting your private typing data to a server.
So even if a bad actor has your credentials, they don't have your physical digital fingerprint. That is incredible. And what about healthcare? That has to be the most sensitive data environment imaginable.
It is. In healthcare, they're using highly constrained AI for clinical decision support and voice-driven patient documentation.
Hmm.
But they're doing it while adhering strictly to the My Health Records Act and the Healthcare Identifiers Act, utilizing that localized PII stripping architecture we talked about.
Which brings up a critical point about execution that C-suite leaders really need to hear. When you're dealing with APRA regulations, the My Health Records Act, or OAIC compliance sweeps carrying $50 million penalties, why does the traditional model of offshore software development completely fall apart here?
Because navigating the nuances of Australian privacy law requires an onshore team that intimately understands the regulatory context. You simply cannot offshore compliance for a $50 million liability to the cheapest bidder. The risk profile is astronomical.
Right.
This is a major tangible differentiator for C9. They are an entirely Australian-based team of senior engineers and enterprise architects. They understand the local privacy laws because they live, work, and operate under them.
And beyond the geographical advantage, there's a massive technological advantage regarding ownership and flexibility, right?
Yeah, exactly. C9 is fiercely framework agnostic. Whether your specific commercial outcome dictates building in Swift for native iOS, Kotlin for Android, or utilizing cross-platform tools like Flutter or React, they engineer what is mathematically best for your business, not just what they prefer to sell.
That makes a lot of sense.
And crucially, they grant you complete IP ownership. All the proprietary code, the customized AI models, the data integration pipelines, they belong exclusively to your business upon delivery. There is absolutely no vendor lock-in holding your infrastructure hostage.
That is massive for long-term enterprise valuation. So to bring this all back to you, the listener, the immediate next steps are crystal clear. The decision sitting on your desk right now is no longer whether to adopt AI. Your competitors have already answered that for you. The decision is how and how soon.
The window to build that compounding intelligence advantage, to start training that model on your proprietary data, is right now. Businesses that execute within the next 90 days will establish a technological lead that becomes exponentially harder and significantly more expensive for the rest of the market to close.
So if you are an Australian business owner or a C-level executive listening to this, staring down that December 2026 regulatory cliff, here is your clear path forward. C9 is Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company. Do not wait for the OAIC to knock on your door to figure this out. I highly encourage you to visit www.c9.com.au.
Yes, definitely do that.
Go there and book a complimentary AI mobile strategy session with their senior engineering team. They will sit down with you, map out your highest value commercial use cases, and give you a tangible 90-day roadmap from strategy to secure, compliant production. Again, that is www.c9.com.au.
And while you're mapping out your corporate strategy, please remember to click that follow button on our page and share this deep dive with your colleague, your board of directors, and any peers who urgently need to understand this architectural shift before the regulatory deadlines hit.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the death of the digital vending machine to the mechanics of hybrid cloud architecture, from massive ROI multipliers to navigating those existential compliance fines. But I want to leave you with one final provocative question to mull over as you look at your own business operations today. If your mobile app's new AI engine were to sit in on your next board meeting, what strategic insights would it have already deduced about your customers' hidden habits that your entire executive team is currently completely blind to? Think about it. See you next time.